Alright, hello everyone, this is Sith Warrior 26, and for this video I'll be going over Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, specifically the remote play feature that comes with the Steam version. Now, for those of you who don't know what remote play is, it basically is an online feature that allows you to play a local co-op game online. So for example, this game, back in the day, you would play this, like couch co-op, meaning that you would play this in the same room with someone on the same screen. And remote play is cool because it allows you to play a split screen game with someone who lives far away, or just for some reason, you can't meet up in person, and allows you to play the game online. Now, the remote play works, but there are some problems with it. Like, there is some lag and some input delay when you use it. However, I will be going over how it works anyway, in case it does work for you. And it actually depends on your Wi-Fi and internet connection. So without further ado, let's begin. So, when you open Steam, you're going to want to launch Sonic Adventure 2, and it'll take you to this tab. Now, the best controller to use for this game, I would say, is the Xbox controller. Probably because Xbox controllers work very well with PCs. The second best controller to use for this game is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. The only problem with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller is that the buttons are switched up, so you would have to change how it's mapped on the Steam settings for that controller, and I will go over that later. But for now, I'm going to go over how the remote play works. And so, when you hit the player tab, it's important that both player 1 and player 2 have gamepad, especially player 2. Player 1, you can play on keyboard if you like playing like that, but I honestly prefer to play over with a gamepad, a controller. If player 2 does not say gamepad, then there's going to be a problem, because what's going to end up happening is player 2 will be playing under keyboard settings, and I tried it this way, and honestly it's not really fun. So it's better that you have it on gamepad. And once everything is all set, player 2 has gamepad, player 1 has gamepad, then all you do is click Save Settings and launch Sonic Adventure 2. Let me just make sure I'm recording, and I am, because sometimes I will forget to hit record, and that really sucks. Alright, so right now the game's running. I'm just gonna skip the intro, even though it's a very beautiful intro. Let me just lower the volume on this game. Alright, so you begin the game and you go to 2P battle. Alright, so right now I have my Xbox controller as player 1 and my Switch Pro controller as player 2. So really, on Nintendo Switch, if that's your player 2, you just hit the plus button for that, and then it works. And right now, my Xbox controller is player 1, and my Nintendo Switch controller is player 2. Now, what if you're doing this on remote play? So what you're going to do is you're going to hit Shift Tab, and it takes you to this page. What you want to make sure when you do this is make sure that you're not invisible but actually online, because when you play this game invisible, you won't be able to send the link for the other player to play with you. So right now I have there's 2 friends online. What I would do is I played with this guy earlier. You select their profile, you click on this down arrow, and then select remote play together, and then this will send the link to them so that they can play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle with you. And then once that's done, they will like Steam will notify you that they are on the same game as you. And the great thing about this feature is that the second player does not need to own Sonic Adventure 2. Now, I find it useful for both players to have 2 controllers on them, because for some reason the remote play feature, if the other person, like let's say player 2 or let's say player 1 only uses keyboard and never uses a controller. If they don't use a controller at all and they've only been playing keyboard, when you're the second player, then you will only be using keyboard, even if you do have a controller, because on their end they haven't configured to a controller setting at all. So I would suggest and recommend, if you're doing this for both players, to have a controller, especially 2 controllers on their end, so that the game can register a second player. I don't know why it works that way, but for some reason it works. And once that's done, it'll give you the option to like map out which controller is player 1 and which controller is player 2. I can't do it right now because there's no one online who could test this out with me at the moment, but you will see once you run the game. If you just have any questions, just message me in the comments and I'll explain it. But my thoughts on the remote play, well, I don't know if I said it before, it does work, but if your internet connection is not good with the other player, it's not going to work. There's going to be a lot of lag, and there's going to be a lot of input delay when you're hitting the buttons, and overall it just makes for a basically lame experience, because you really want to play the game with someone. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys some gameplay footage of the remote play that I did with this online player. Alright, so this is the remote play I did with another online player on Steam. So we tested it out, and it actually took us a bunch of tries for it to work, and this was the best way we could do it. So he actually had to lower his graphics settings for this to work. That's why it's doing a 4:3 ratio right now, because for some reason when he was running this game on high-end settings, I was lagging terribly, and I'm actually still lagging right now because I just fell and died in this stage, and there was some button delay when I was hitting the buttons by like half a second. Overall, I did have fun, playing the game on remote play like this, but I tell you, I wouldn't really recommend doing it if your internet connection is not good. For you it might work, but in my case, this guy, he had to stream the game to me through his Steam account. He hosted the match, so I'm player 2, I'm Shadow right now, and yeah, this was the only way it worked. When I tried to host, it was terribly lag. So probably if I did the same thing, excuse me. Probably if I did the same thing, hosted the game on low-end settings, it probably would have been lag for him. And I found alternative to this. It's called Parsec, and Parsec actually works way better, like big time. Like, if you don't know what Parsec is, I'm telling you, it's one of the best things that's ever been made. And I only found out about it through a friend from Sonic Revolution, Dablueshadow, because he invited me to his Discord server where he basically runs tournaments through Parsec for any game on his Discord, and I'll send the link for that on my description. And yeah, I mean, Parsec is really, it makes Steam Remote Play look basically like crap, and that's not to really put any shame on Steam. I love Steam, but they really need to figure out how to really work this much better, because as you see, I'm really struggling just to get up on the rail, and I'm telling you, Parsec is like one of the most best things that's ever been made. But yeah, so I'm going to show you guys right now how to configure for the Nintendo Switch controller, because not all of you guys have an Xbox controller or PlayStation controller. Actually, the funny thing with the PlayStation 4 controller is it does not work great for Player 2, because for some reason Steam doesn't recognize the PlayStation 4 controller as a gamepad. Only the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox controller. So here we go. Alright, so in order to change the settings for your controller, I'm actually going to go on big picture mode, because I find it much easier to access controller configuration. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on your library, and find Sonic Adventure 2, and you're going to hit Manage Game, and then click on Controller Configuration. And I already have my Nintendo Switch hooked up, so all you have to do really is you click on the bottom right tab right here, and it'll give you all the buttons. Now if you notice, okay, on Nintendo Switch, the B button is on the bottom and the A button is on the right side. So all I did was really just switch them. So my B button is now my A button, and my A button is now my B button. This is so I could, spin dash and jump the way I like it, specifically the way it was for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And how you go about it is when you click this tab, it's gonna direct you to style of input. Now, I already switched them out, so right here where it says A, that's actually really B on Nintendo Switch. And all you do really is click on the button you want to map or change. You click on it, and then it'll give you this menu, and you'll have your controller on your right side, and you're gonna click on the button you want to change, and then all you do is hit A on your Nintendo Switch, and it will give you A on the B button for Nintendo Switch. Again, I'm gonna do it for the other button. Let me just get back. Alright, so right here I just hit the button I want to change, and so I click here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit B for that one, and I already did it, so that's what would happen when you change it. And that's pretty much it for the Nintendo Switch controller. It actually works really great playing it, and it's just as good as the Xbox controller, but I still will give the Xbox controller more points because, I don't know, it just feels more natural to play on the Xbox controller. Now, with the PlayStation controller, all you would have to do is hook it up. Actually, let me hook up my PS4 controller right now. Alright, so I just plugged in my PlayStation 4 controller, and what you're gonna do here, if you want to configure your PS4 controller, which you don't really have to because people on Steam, on the Steam community, have already done this. So all you have to do is just switch controller. And right now, okay, so I have 3 controllers plugged in, so I'm just going to click on PlayStation 4. And right now, I'm using this guy's settings, stupid Persno. I'm using his settings, and honestly, I think his settings are already upvoted as the highest votes for this game, because everything's already, you know, mapped out the way it should be for Sonic Adventure 2. Again, I'll show you the Xbox controller, and you don't have to worry about anything with this. It's already there, and you know, if you want to change it, you could, but I really don't see any reason to do so. And that's about it with the controllers. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Go to controller options, and it says here Steam input per game setting requires game relaunch. You want to have forced on, and this is because this allows you to access all types of controllers, because let's say alright, I've been playing on PS4 for the most part. When I hooked up my Nintendo Switch controller, the game didn't recognize my Nintendo Switch controller at first, but once I hit forced on, then it allowed me to access the Nintendo Switch controller, and that goes the same for the Xbox controller. And yeah, that's really about it. If you guys have any questions, just comment me on the comment section, and I'll be talking about Parsec in my next video, or my next episode. I'll see you guys then. Take care.